Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of this spine-chilling podcast, Horror Talks with Tate. My name is Tate and I'm your host for this podcast, and I'm so happy to be back again. In this podcast, we plunge into the depth of intricate plots, delve into rich character development, thematic elements, explore director's cuts, and so much more within the horror genre. So for this episode, we're diving into the latest chilling installment of the Terrifier franchise, Terrifier 3. Picking up where Terrifier 2 left off, the film delivers a terrifying holiday twist, bringing back the infamous Art the Clown. This time, he's set to wreak even more twisted mayhem on none other than Christmas Eve, turning a season of joy into one of pure horror. We'll explore how this sequel builds on the brutal legends of Art's past killings and discuss what makes his return scarier and more gruesome than ever. So buckle up, and it's time to go to Spooky Summaries and discover the plot details for Terrifier 3. In Terrifier 3, Art the Clown is back, causing chaos with a twisted holiday theme. This time, he's on a Santa costume and engaged in more elaborate and brutal murders. Sienna Shaw and her brother Jonathan return to confront the trauma left by Art, who continues his grisly rampage. Jonathan, now a college student, has new friends who are disturbingly interested in Art's infamous crime, adding psychological tension as Sienna begins to suspect that Art is haunting her once again. Art's sadistic spree escalates in some of the most intense, horror-filled scenes yet, reflecting director Damien Leone's commitment to pushing boundaries for horror fans. Now, horror fans, it's time to go to discrete directors and discover the history of making Terrifier 3. Terrifier 3 was written and directed by Damien Leone. Damien improvised his signature style with even bolder gore, building on the brutality from the previous films. Known for pushing the boundaries of violence in horror, Leone focuses on unsettling graphic kills while weaving in psychological horror elements to keep viewers deeply unsettled. Inspired by classic horror cinematography, he chose an anamorphic lens to invoke the vintage feel reminiscence of John Carpenter's work, blending old-school horror aesthetics with new extreme terror scenes. Set against a Christmas backdrop, Terrifier 3 creates a chilling contrast with festive themes. Art the Clown on a Santa outfit, turning horror cheer into chaos and shocking audience with gruesome scenes, like making a blood angel on the floor. Leone's dedication to upping the stake ensures that the film maintains intense suspense while adding fresh horror elements and inventive kill sequences, ensuring fans are in for an unforgettable experience with Art's holiday-themed mayhem. For more about the film's direction and Leone's approach, you can check out sources on its production and themes. In Terrifier 3, David Howard Thornton returns as the menacing Art the Clown, with Lauren Lavara reprising her role as Sienna Shaw, Art's determined rival and final girl. Elliot Fulham plays her brother Jonathan, who's now in college, while Samantha Scafidi returns as Victoria Hayes, who invokes into Art's disturbing accomplice after being possessed. The film also introduced new characters like Jess Shaw, played by Margarita Ann Florence, and her family, as well as a host of supporting roles featuring familiar faces such as Chris Jericho as Burke, Jason Patrick as Michael Shaw, and Daniel Roebuck in a Santa-inspired role. In Terrifier 3, each actor brings a unique style to their role, enchanting the film's chilly yet darkly humorous tone. David Howard Thornton, reprising his role as Art the Clown, uses a highly improvisational approach, drawing from physical comedy and silent expression. Thornton's background in stage performance allows him to effortlessly snap in and out of character, blending horror and slapstick in a way that is both terrifying and unexpectedly funny. He often plays off his co-stars, especially in scenes where director Damien Leone gives actors freedom to explore and ad-lib, resulting in dynamic scenes full of dark, unpredictable humor. Other cast members, like Daniel Roebuck as a Grinch-inspired Santa character, leveraged their extensive acting backgrounds to create rich horror comedy performance. Roebuck's experience with comedy complements Thornton's style, allowing them to riff off each other in tense and comical moments, bringing extra depth to the slasher atmosphere. Additionally, Chris Jericho's role as a nurse and new cast members like Brees Johnson and Antonella Rose add layers portrayals that balance the fear with subtle humor, helping make Terrifier 3 both frightening and disturbingly fun to watch. Terrifier 3 continues the twisted and brutal narrative, following Art the Clown taking up right where Terrifier 2 left off, with the shocking resurrection of Art after the disturbing birth sequences involving Victoria. The film deepens the surreal and supernatural elements that makes the series feel like a horrific, surreal nightmare, and it doesn't aim to explain every strange twist. Art and Victoria now act as partners, with Victoria haunted by her traumatic encounters and slowly transforming into a darker version of herself, which adds a complex, villainous dynamic to the plot. The storyline also revisits Sienna, the franchise's final girl. As she grapples with her trauma, she returns to her family, only for Art to target them mercilessly, pushing boundaries further with extreme kill scenes designed to shock and challenge the audience's tolerance for gore. Alongside a darkly humorous tone, Terrifier 3 retains its independent, gritty feel and pushes boundaries with controversial elements that even horror veterans find challenging. David Howard Thornton's portrayal of Art continues to ensure the series. His silent but expressive physicality adding to the horror comedy contrast within the film. Terrifier 3 takes a darker, festive turn by setting its chilling story during Christmas. The opening scene follows Art the Clown as he terrorizes a family on Christmas Eve. The setup is horrifyingly festive, with a young girl waking her parents after hearing noises on the roof, believing Santa has arrived. Instead, it's Art, disguised in a Santa costume, who proceeds to carry out brutal acts against the family. Art even adds to the twisted holiday theme by indulging in the milk and cookies left out for Santa after the attack, leaving a disturbing impression. This holiday horror setting, combined with Art's increased brutality, is reported to have caused multiple viewers to walk out during premieres, with some needing to leave due to the intense gore. The scene is visually designed to contrast the typically joyful Christmas atmosphere with the franchise's infamous level of graphic horror, making it perhaps the most gruesome opening in the series so far. Director Damien Leone aimed to make Terrifier 3 visually reminiscent to vintage horror films, adding an eerie nostalgia to its unsettling story. Fans have responded to this heightened blend of terror and hold a cheer, solidifying Art the Clown as a modern horror icon. The music and sound design in Terrifier 3 adds a dynamic, disturbing layer to the horror experience. The film collaborates with the metalcore band Ice Nine Kills, who composed the official track, a work of art, for the movie. Known for their horror-inspired music and theatrical style, Ice Nine Kills integrates their intense, eerie sound into the film, which matches Terrifier 3's brutal and suspenseful atmosphere. Sound design also plays a crucial role, crafted to enchant tension during key scenes, especially with Art the Clown's unsettling present. Directed by Damien Leone, the film includes the work of Martin Hernandez, a seasoned sound designer from Pan's Labyrinth and The Revenant, ensuring immersive and nuanced audio to elevate the horror experience. The journey to creating Terrifier 3 continues the dark legends of Art the Clown, directed by Damien Leone, who has overseen the franchise since its inception. Leone confirmed the movie after the success of Terrifier 2, which garnered attention for its graphic horror and low-budget roots. The new installment aimed to expand both the horror and budget, jumping from $250,000 in the previous film to $2 million. A notable increase, but still modest by Hollywood standards. Leone incorporated vintage horror techniques using Panavision anamorphic lens to give Terrifier 3 a classic John Carpenter vibe. The production began in early 2024 after pre-production in late 2023. Leone brought back characters like Sienna and Victoria and introduced new cast members, including wrestling star Chris Jericho and horror veteran Tom Savini, aiming to enrich the universe with more depth and lore. Leone also shifted the setting to Christmas Eve, adding a seasonal horror twist to Art's brutal antics. The film was released in US theaters on October 11, 2024, with an exclusive streaming deal with Screenbox. The ratings that the movie received are the IMDb score of 6.7 out of 10 and a Rotten Tomatoes score of 77%. As of now, Terrifier 3 has achieved significant milestone, but has not yet received traditional awards or nomination. It has, however, made impressive box office achievement, notably setting records in the unrated horror category. The film's $18.9 million opening weekend broke the record for the highest opening by an unrated movie in US history, a major feat for an independent horror production. Additionally, it became the highest grossing unrated film ever in North America, amassing $36.2 million domestically in just a few weeks, and its project to reach 50 out of 60 million by the end of its run, which I just heard from the other day. It had already received a $50 million worldwide, which is absolutely insane. So congratulations to the cast and crew for getting the box office way higher than expected. I'm so proud of you all. These records reflects the growing popularity of the Terrifier franchise and the continued appeal of Art the Clown as an iconic horror figure. This success combines with a minimal $2 million production budget, has ensured that Terrifier 3 has already grossed over 20 times its production costs. In Terrifier 3, the props, weapons, and CGI plays a significant role in enchanting Art the Clown's relentless brutality and shocking kills. Art's new arsenal includes a chainsaw for disturbing close-up attack, a Ninguran tank for freezing body parts to smash them with a hammer, and some especially gory props like animal intestines. In one particular memorable scene, Art ties up a Santa-dressed character, freezes him with the tank, and then proceeds to pulverize parts of his body. This gruesome creativity is matched by a carefully controlled use of CGI to amplify practical effects, like Art's chilling mall bombing where he hands children wrapped explosion disguised as gifts, which cause claustrophobic destructions when they detonate. The Christmas setting creates an intense contrast, using holiday-themed props and lighting to twist the season's cheerful vibe into something horrific. The director, Damien Leone, also plays on Christian iconography, incorporating elements like crucifixal motifs and adding a twisted depth to Art's on-screen mayhem. With a significantly increased budget, the filmmakers were able to mix practical effects and CGI in new ways, creating a most extreme and visual intense installment yet. Terrifier 3 is expected to expand on Art the Clown's background and motivations. Although details are limited, Terrifier 2 hints that Art may have supernatural origins or a connection to dark forces, especially with the appearance of the pale girl who seems to mirror his twisted personality. There are also hints about Sienna's role and her family's history, suggesting a deeper connection to Art and the supernatural elements around him. Given away, Terrifier 2 ends with Vicky giving birth to Art's head. It foreshadows a new form of terror that might continue Art's reign of horror in unexpected ways. Now, I'm going to take you guys to Insane Insiders, which is the last segment for this episode, and tell you all about the Easter eggs, fun facts, and the audience reviews for Terrifier 3. In Terrifier 3, director Damien Leone packed in plenty of Easter eggs and reference for devoting fans. The film features multiple nods to Terrifier 2, including a scene where Art puts on a Christmas tree-shaped sunglasses, a callback to his playful costume store moment with silly glasses in the previous movie. Leone also includes a nostalgic reference to his earlier short film, A Ninth Circle, which first introduced Art the Clown. In a climatic scene, a character is shown reading the Ninth Circle, symbolizing both Art's origin and a dark nod to Dante's Inferno, connecting Art to themes of demonic evil. The movie also nods to classic horror, subtly referencing films like Psycho, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Point Break. This variety of Easter eggs appeals to horror aficionados, giving both Terrifier fans and general horror buffs something fun to spot. In Terrifier 3, Art terrorizes a Christmas-themed setting, flipping the warmth of the season on its head, which also recalls the unsettling contrast seen in holiday-themed horror like Black Christmas. Terrifier 3 brings several intriguing new elements to the horror series, marking it as a standout. It's the first of the franchise shot using Panavision anamorphic lens, creating a look inspired by vintage John Carpenter's film. This third installment also had a significant production upgrade, with over 30 crew members daily compared to only 5 or 10 for earlier films. The film was made on a $2 million budget, much larger than Terrifier 2's $250,000, yet still considered low by industry standards. The director, Damien Leone, kept the film unrated to maintain creative freedom, including some extreme scenes like a controversial opening he felt would have been constrained under studio oversight. Leone also chose to further develop Victoria Hayes, a character from previous films, giving her a darker, prominent role in Terrifier 3. The movie includes special appearance by horror icon like Tom Savini and featuring Daniel Roebuck as a Santa Claus character, adding a unique holiday-themed horror twist. Audience reviews for Terrifier 3 reflects mixed reaction, with praise largely centered on the extreme gore and unique atmosphere, but some criticism about the story and character development. Fans of Art the Clown seem pleased with the escalating horror, as the film goes even further than previous entries in terms of gruesome and shocking visuals. Some viewers appreciated the return of the characters like Sienna and Victoria, but others felt that the added plot was slow or unnecessary, preferring instead the sheer terror of Art's unpredictable brutality. Many fans have noted that the film's DIY feel, paired with Art's physical and disturbing performance, adds a raw quality that continues to appeal to hardcore horror enthusiasts. However, for some, the narrative shifts were distracting, particularly as it introduced subplots without fully tying them together. Ultimately, reactions are polarized. Viewers who appreciate the film's no-hold-barred horror style are genuinely positive, while those who looked for a more cohesive story found it lacking. Before we wrap up today's episode, I'm going to tell you all about my thoughts and reviews for Terrifier 3. Terrifier 3 is hands down the most brutal movie I have ever experienced in my entire life. The kills in this film are beyond disturbing, filled with gruesome, bone-chilling details that left me on edge with every scene. Seeing Art the Clown return was absolutely thrilling. His presence is more menacing and haunting than ever. The story took unexpected twists and kept me hooked, and the performances were shockingly realistic, adding a depth that made the horror feel all too real. If you are ready for a relentless horror experience, please go see Terrifier 3. You are going to be talking about this for weeks. Well, everyone, this concludes today's episode of Horror Talks with Tate. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode and discussing about the latest installment of the Terrifier franchise, and I cannot wait to see Terrifier 4 when it comes out. I will be back next time to talk about the horror movie that follows one of our beloved childhood characters, not from the Twisted Childhood universe, but from a different production. And the character in the movie is Mickey Mouse. So the next episode will be about the movie called The Mousetrap. Make sure to follow, rate, and review this podcast to grow more horror fans like yourselves. If you want to stay tuned for more upcoming episodes and exciting news, go follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter to keep your eyes on them. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for the episodes which I will be working on very soon, and follow me on TikTok for spooky and funny horror videos. Make sure Art doesn't terrorize your town on Christmas Eve, cause if that does happen, he will get you. Thank you so much for tuning in, horror fans, and as always, stay spooky, and I will see you guys next time.